Welcome to day 5 of 66 and 26, our journey through all 66 books of the Bible in 2026. We are in the New Testament today for the first time. Maybe some of you are really glad to be in familiar territory in John 1, 2, and 3. Personally, when I read these first chapters of John, one of the things that stands out is the strong connection to the Old Testament that we've been in over the last several days. And I just point out a few of them. The very first words of the Gospel of John echo the very beginning of the Bible itself in Genesis 1, in the beginning. And then in John chapter 2, you get the mention of the Passover feast, which is the major festival of the people of God in the Old Testament, the Passover. And we see that Jesus celebrated that Passover with his disciples. And then John chapter 3, Jesus mentions the snake, a bronze snake that Moses was instructed to make and put up on a pole so that any of the Israelites who were bitten by snakes could look to that snake and live because they trusted, they had faith in the words of God. And in the same way, as Jesus was lifted up on the cross, anyone who looks to him would also have life through their faith. Well, a couple of other interesting things that I see in these first chapters of John as a connection to the Old Testament. An interesting one in John 1:14, where we're told that the Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. And in the original language of the New Testament, Greek, in John chapter 1, verse 14, that word that means to make his dwelling is to tabernacle, to tent, which is a very strong echo and actually fulfillment of the Old Testament tabernacle, where the glory of the Lord was with the people of Israel. And now the glory of the Lord is with us in Jesus Christ. The glory of the Lord came in Christ to dwell among us, to tabernacle among us. Well, another interesting one, which I think is actually a hidden treasure in these first chapters of John, and that's the very last verse of John chapter 1, where we're told Jesus is talking to Nathanael, and he tells Nathanael, you are going to see greater things than this. You will see the angels of God ascending and descending upon the Son of Man. The Son of Man is a way that Jesus talks about himself. And you might wonder, well, what does this mean that they're angels of God ascending and descending upon the Son of Man? There's actually no reference anywhere else in the Gospel of John or the other Gospels or anywhere else in the New Testament to tell us that Nathanael or the other disciples or anybody else ever saw angels like this ascending and descending in the presence of Jesus. So what is Jesus talking about here? Well, I think that he's actually using a figurative expression to connect to a story of Genesis 28. In Genesis 28, we're told that Jacob was given a vision where he saw angels ascending and descending on a ladder, coming and going from heaven to earth. And that was a sign for Jacob that God was present with him wherever he went. He was given this gift of a sign to remind him that God was with him. Well, when you get to John chapter 1, then Jesus actually is that connection between heaven and earth. There's no ladder that Jesus refers to in John 1. He says that the angels of God will ascend and descend upon the Son of Man. The Son of Man, Jesus, is that connection between heaven and earth. And he is the reminder that God is present with us. In fact, he's the very embodiment of God on earth. And I find it very interesting too, then the very next story that is told by John is the first sign that Jesus gives that he is the Son of God, the Christ, the changing of water into wine at the wedding banquet at Cana. This is the first of many signs in the Gospel of John, and those signs are to tell us that Jesus is the Christ. He is God, and he is the very embodiment of God here with us. And that is a figurative expression then that Jesus is using to remind us of that truth, that he is God now dwelling among us.